K-9 Sampson passed away in August of 2018. Here at the Maker Shack, we had the pleasure of building this wood box to store Sampson's ashes. We started with some measurements of the box of ashes, then laid out a design in SketchUp and came up with a cut list. It varied a little bit from this, but this is the gist of it. There are also a couple of painted rocks that needed a place to be displayed. We used Carbide Create to design and lay out the carvings to be done with our Shipoko CNC. The wood used for this project is purple heart and oak. With the help of Inkscape, I converted this image to a vector file and put it into Carbide Create to carve one of the sides of the box. We were given an image of Sampson's paw print. I traced that in Inkscape and used it to create the carving for the top of the box. We picked up some purple heart offcuts from a local hardwood dealer. These pieces were 7/8 inch thick and 5 inches wide, and one piece was 14 inches and the other piece was 16 inches long. We resawed them and ran them through the planer to get them to the same thickness. Then to widen the top and the base pieces, I added some strips of oak in the middle. We added a 1/4 inch groove about 1/4 inch from the bottom of the box to hold the piece of oak plywood for the bottom. Then it was time for the CNC to do its job. There's a recessed oval on the front to hold Sampson's badge, and then there's text on one side, and the patch that I showed you earlier is on the other. After some sanding, I sprayed some polyurethane on all the pieces. Then I recruited my daughter to do all the painting for us. She did a great job. We made the effort to leave some bare wood in the middle of the oval for the badge to be epoxied to. For the lid piece, I used one of these glue-up panels, cut it a little bit big, and then used the box itself to line up these oak strips. Once the oak pieces were in place, I was able to trim the top to exact size. I then decided to use magnets to hold the lid in place. I then added some tiny magnets to the top edge of the box and the inside of the lid. So this box can be standalone or it can be put on the base. And for the base, I designed these cradles that hold the rocks, as well as a slot on the back side that holds the clear plastic picture frames. These were also cut on the CNC. We cut some feet out of some 1/4 inch oak and inset them from the edges so that they would not be visible. And then finally, the rock holders were glued in place. There are also a couple of strips of oak that keep the ashes box from sliding front to back when on the base. Several coats of spray polyurethane were applied to all surfaces and allowed to dry. And finally, Sampson's badge was attached with 5-minute epoxy. Sampson, thank you for your service. You are greatly missed, and you are such a good boy. Thanks for watching.